What is up, guys? Today I'll be making a video on something I get asked pretty frequently, and that's my favorite lures to catch largemouth bass. Now before I get into that topic, I want to say quickly, add me on Snapchat. It's just Peelindrag. I post things almost every day on there, whether I go fishing or not, and whether I catch things or not. I try to keep you guys up to date on my fishing life and how things are going there, so be sure to add me on there. Again, it's just Peelindrag. Now let's get into the topic. So basically this video is going to be, if I could only ever use 5 lures for largemouth bass, then this is what I would use. To start it off, a suspending jerkbait. Now specifically, the Megabass Vision 110 and the Rapala Shadow Rap. Recently I've been using this more. I've been catching more fish on this when I've been able to fish open water. Suspending jerkbaits are very good for cold water conditions, right before things freeze up and right after things thaw, right when the lake opens up for the first time in the spring. Anytime the water is really 50 degrees and lower, but it really excels for me when it's in that upper 30, low 40 degree range. That's when I've just done phenomenal bass fishing with suspending jerkbaits. What I'll do is I'll cast it out, make long casts, give it 1 to 2 or usually 2 jerks with the rod, pretty good jerks, and then let it sit for 5 to 15 seconds, sometimes even more. Depending on how cold the water temperature is. If it's a sunny day out, I'll generally be using more clear, transparent, holographic type lure coloring on the jerkbaits. And for example, this one you can see it has more of a shine to it, a little holographic color on the sides. And then this one, the Vision 110, is more of a solid, opaque color. I like to use a solid color if it's cloudy, something that's not transparent, not very flashy. On cloudy days and on sunny, bright, open days, I like to use a more shiny, flashy type lure. Another lure I love using for largemouth bass is the live target Al-Abadi frog. This is a great lure to use anytime the water temperature is above 55 degrees. I like to throw this around any kind of floating cover, lily pads, dead weeds, logs. You can even throw it around. What I like to do is give it small, slow twitches along the surface of weeds or lily pads. And anytime you make contact with open water with your frog, I like to let it sit there for a couple seconds. You maybe give it a few twitches, because that's the most likely where you're going to hook up with a fish. Lots of times they will hit it when it's in heavy cover, and they'll miss it just because it's hard for them to see exactly where the frog is. But when it's in open water, it's a very easy target for them, and they're likely to be following it when it's under the weeds. And right when it gets into open water, you're going to have them blow up on it. And of course, there's the Jitterbug. I love throwing jitterbugs, black jitterbugs at nighttime. Right around sunset, a little after sunset, has been prime time for me this past summer. I've grown really fond of them doing that. I've caught plenty of bass just this summer alone on that tactic. That's real simple. You'll throw them out in anywhere 5 feet or less of water. I'll usually fish from the bank when I'm doing that. And you won't be able to see anything, you'll just hear a splash, set the hook, hopefully the fish grabbed it. You have to be careful though, because sometimes you got a jitterbug flying back at you real fast. And then of course you have your Senkos. Senkos are very common lures to be used for largemouth bass. They catch a lot of fish and they're very easy to use. I like to use the Gary Yamamoto 4-inch Senkos in watermelon black flake. It's a very good color for clear water fishing. My favorite way to rig them is probably I like to fish them in anywhere from 1 to 5 feet of water. I like to cast them along the banks, around docks, rocks, logs, any type of light cover that bass are likely to be hanging out in during the summertime. Casting in shallow waters, giving it a few twitches, letting it pause, kind of let it flutter down to the bottom a little bit, a few more twitches, and just keep doing that all the way back to the boat or the bank, wherever you're fishing from. And that's a great way to catch some summer largemouth bass. And then last but certainly not least, you have the swim jig. This is a Strike King tournament grade swim jig. In 1/4 ounce size. I love the size, I love this weight, color. This is personally the jig I would throw. You can throw it any time of the year. You just have to slow down the action in the colder temperatures. But I personally like throwing this in the warmer months of spring and summer, even fall as well. But the deeper you go, the heavier jig head you're going to want. But I like throwing this around cover, along rock piles. I like to throw, if I'm on a boat, I'll throw it along the bank, kind of hop it back to the bank. Giving it pretty aggressive hops, leaving a slack line while it's falling, because you'll be able to detect the bite, keep an eye on your line, you'll see it tick, lots of times you'll feel it as well, but watching the line is very key when you're fishing with a jig. You might not be able to tell right off the bat, but once you get a hit, you're going to know it, and it's awesome. It's probably my favorite way of fishing. So that's going to have to be a wrap on today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. I'm still going to be trying to get plenty of ice fishing videos out this winter. I've been struggling a little bit lately on getting the quality of fish I want for my videos. But you can follow me on that struggle on Snapchat and Instagram at Peelindrag. So be sure to add me on there if you haven't already. And so until next time, guys, I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. Alright, I'll catch you next time on the next episode of Peelindrag.